This week on the channel, I will be going over 5 tips for all new backcountry campers. Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Marty here at Headlamp, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is Marty, and here I cover all things outdoors, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. Today, like I said in the intro, I'm gonna give you 5 tips if you're a beginner backcountry camper that's gonna be really useful for you. Tip number 1 for you guys is preparation, research, and planning is the key to a successful backcountry camping trip. And what do I mean by this? I mean, most of the different parks you're going to go to will have different regulations as to, are you allowed to camp on the ground? What are the shelters you're allowed to bring? Are there pre-assigned campsites? Are you allowed to have campfires? Are you not allowed to have campfires? Some places you need to pay an access for it, you need a permit. Some of the times where you pay and where the trailhead is very different, so you have to account for that time. Do you need to bring bare canisters, or are there going to be bare boxes out there, or are you going to have to do a bare hang? Also, reaching out to the rangers and asking them if your itinerary is actually doable will also enhance the quality of your trip. All of these questions can be answered and should be answered before you leave so that you have a successful trip. Along with the preparation and the research, you're gonna find out the exact gear that you need, and your gear is your best friend out on your backcountry camping trips. They're gonna make the experience a lot better and a lot more comfortable for you. So make sure that you know how to use your gear and make sure that you pack everything that you need. And to do that, I've put something together to help all of you guys at home. I've basically put together a gear checklist that you can get your hands over at parextreme.com. It's free, it's for you. Make sure to grab that gear list so that you don't forget anything on your next camping trip. Tip number 2 for you guys is don't be afraid to poop in the woods. Listen, so many people go out every year camping and they just hold it in the entire weekend. It is uncomfortable, and trust me, you will feel a lot lighter. I have an entire video where I covered everything on how to poop in the woods, basically, so I'll link it up here in the cards. Check it out. In order to poop in the woods, it's pretty simple. You got to follow simple leave no trace principle. So make sure you're 200 feet away from campsites, trails, and water. Dig a proper cat hole, relieve yourself, and you will thank me, because you will be a lot lighter and a lot more comfortable for the rest of your trip. So don't be intimidated to poop in the woods. Tip number 3 for you guys is headlamp etiquette. Obviously, a headlamp is a super useful piece of gear, but please don't blind people with your headlamp, and there are simple tips to do that. I'll give you 2 of them. Tip number 1, okay, some people like to wear it around their neck, so if you're gonna be walking up to someone, instead of wearing it on your head and literally blinding them right square in their eyes, if you wear it around your neck, it's just gonna flash on the ground in front of you. It's gonna do the job that it needs to do for you, and it's not gonna blind anyone. My personal favorite myself is the sideways wear, so where I just wear it off to the side a little bit, so I have it on my forehead like this, and when I cross someone, I just move it over and I point it down. This way we can have a conversation, see each other, and I'm not blinding him, basically. But another thing that you have to keep in mind as well is, while you're walking around all the different campsites, is make sure that you don't flash your headlamp in people's tents, because people might be asleep at that point and it's very disrupting. So just be conscientious of your headlamp, where it's pointing at, and if you're sitting around the campfire, would you please turn it off? You do not need your headlamp at this point. Tip number 4 for you guys, and this one I speak out of experience, is set up your bear hang in the daylight if you can. So when you get to your campsite, what most people do, the first thing is they're gonna set up their shelter, which is the right thing to do. But what I will often enough argue is the second thing you need to do is find your bear hang and actually set it up. You don't need to put your food up in the air, but have your rope over the branch already so that it's ready to go, because you know, bear hangs are pretty simple. And actually, I've put a video a couple of weeks ago, and I'll leave it up here in the card so you guys can go check it out, on how to do a proper bear hang. And in theory, bear hangs are pretty simple, but The problem with a bear hang is to find the location, and it's hard enough in the daytime to do that. If you wait at night trying to do this with your headlamp, you're gonna be doing this for way longer, and you might not find the actual proper place, and you might find bears in your campsite tomorrow, or the next day basically. So make sure you set up your bear hang in the daylight. It's gonna be a lot easier. Tip number 5 for you guys, and it's one of my personal favorite tip that changed a lot of things for me, is bring earplugs with you. And more specifically, most sleeping bags have an actual little zipper pouch in the sleeping bag. So all my sleeping bags have already a pair of earplugs in there. And there's a multitude of reasons why you want to do that. Number one, when you're sleeping in your tent, the forests become alive at night, basically. So you hear all the little critters and the little rodents walking around. And sometimes it can sound, or it can feel like maybe there's bigger animals around. So wearing earplugs just kind of turns that entire world off and allows you to have a really good night's sleep. But also, if you're gonna go camping with your friends, some of your friends or most of your friends are gonna snore, and that can keep you up awake at night. So using earplugs is just a really good way to step up your sleeping game so that you're resting and you're fresh in the morning. And the best place to keep them so you never forget them, leave them right in the little pocket of your sleeping bags, and you're always gonna have them when you need them. And that's it, guys. 5 quick tips to make your next backcountry camping trip better. Let me know in the comments below which one of these tips maybe you have never heard of, or maybe you can also let me know a tip that I didn't mention in this video. I would love to hear about all of you guys. If you found any value into this, make sure to hit that like button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so that you are notified every time new content is released, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.